Hey up troops, A Littleton here again with another video, and we're here to look at the defensive setup of Lair. If you're still here after the last membership video and you're still subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. It seemed to ruffle a few feathers. It's just my opinion on it, but it seemed to upset a few folks. So if you are one of those people that's unsubscribed, do me a favour, mate. I'm old. I've already lost me. I'm stressed enough. Click subscribe again. We're here to look at Lair, the defensive setups of all four sides, all reinforcements, all rotations, all lines of sight you're going to need to know to effectively set up Lair. Now, this is the penultimate map before we've completed all the defensive setups, just Emerald Plains left to do, and then once we've done that, we'll put them all together in one big long video, I imagine. That's enough waffling. Let's just get stuck into it. Right then, on to the top floor, which, by the way, I don't think is the strongest site, but it's by far the most popular sites. We'll start here. 5 reinforcements, the main breach, 1 and 2. Out onto the operational wall left side, 3. And then the mezzanine corridor into the main breach is 4. And then finally, 1 more reinforcement from R6 room through into, I think this is Armoury in here. Is this called Armoury? Storage, sorry, storage. Stores guns though, so I'm calling that Armoury. No, I'm not really. Call it storage. Right then, in terms of how you play this site and lines of sight, because there's many of them to be made here. Firstly, this room here, it's called operational. This is a key room when it comes to defending 2 sites on this map, and this site is one of them. You really have to spend some time trying to stop them getting control of this room within the first 30-40 seconds of the round. And you do that by playing behind this reinforcement here. You can hold onto the door. You got the window. Peeking the door there. You can play a mirror here, obviously. Watch that drone hole at the end there. But giving up operational early on will cause you problems because the attackers will have control all the way up to about here. And you can be in master, like holding this angle. But you're giving them control all the way up to the side door, essentially. So you've got to try and delay this as long as possible. A mute on this door, 1 each side, or even 1 high up here. 1 covering the drone hole, which will get shot immediately from the door, but at least give them a job to do. Make them think why they can't get a drone in straight away. And then another jammer somewhere around like here to stop drones coming down this side and coming down this side. You don't want them, you want to give them as little information as possible. Now, as an attacker, you can start again, Andy, put your teeth in. As an attacker, you can take control of this room really efficiently with a Monty and a Ying, and you just push the guy who's defending here away. But you've got to try and at least defend it for as long as possible. You also want head holes here. And then you can play behind this reinforcement and behind this reinforcement for the breach and for the operational door. If the breach is open and they're pushing the operational door as well, you've got to get out of there, basically. But you don't want to really have this one open because otherwise you can't really hide anywhere. You have to like sort of take cover from, like, you couldn't go past halfway here because this wall would be soft. Like, you'd be trapped in a line along the floor like that, if you know what I mean. But this area here is key. Don't forget, all the floor in here is soft, so you can pre-place C4s underneath if you want to. Over on this side of the map, you definitely want head holes in master here. And that's going to enable you to hold... Just reload the old shotgun here. It's going to enable you to hold this angle from the breach. And enable you to throw C4s in the plant spot, which most people have been going with recently, which is like over here. Means you can be able to throw smokes, C4s, whatever it might be, over into that plant spot. I think a rotate here is a good idea. I did say when I first made the guide for this map that I wanted to rotate on the other side. I've now changed my mind a little bit. But you want to have a rotate here because if they start pushing down this corridor to here, there's not much you can do when you're in this room. Whereas if you've got a way out, you can push in and go around and put some pressure on from behind if you need to. But also, I would start by defending this room. A little bit like we talked about operational on the other side. I would start by defending this room onto this door and then down to this corridor. And when the pressure gets too much, you can fall back in. And if you want to, after you've fallen in, you can reinforce it after if you want to. Over on this side of the site, you definitely need to rotate into server here. There's no other way into server other than through the double door over there. So you definitely need a way in here. I talked about this on the other video as well, but head holes along here. High up, though, is nice, and 1 here. So now from standing up on here, you can hold the breach. And anyone coming in from Mez, you can also hold the door out there towards the storage room. Also want to rotate. It's a nightmare to set the site up, by the way. You've seen there's rotates and lines of sight everywhere. Rotate out into... Is it called Memorial? Display room. My call-outs on Lair are still pretty rusty. But yeah, rotate out into display room. I said on the other video that this room is... There's not a lot going on, really. It's solid floors. There's a window, and that's about it. And a doorway down... a corridor down to a doorway at the staircase. And not a lot going on. But you definitely need a way out. From here, obviously, you can throw the C4s if you want to. You can... smokes are really effective from in here. Being able to just throw smokes towards the breach to stop them coming in. Drop down if you need to. Make a little punch hole. Cheeky little rat angle. I'm all about... Oh, hello. Oh, there's a bench there, isn't there? Let's go back there instead. Cheeky little rat angle. Love a rat angle. Always recommend... is that... I've just seen a butterfly there. What's that doing? But then it disappears if you move there. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Always recommend as well holding the bridge on the north side of the map. This bridge here is what gives you the peek out onto the breach if anyone's pushing the breach. But trying to keep control of this for, again, a period of time if you can. This is the door here that goes out opposite the operational. We've just gone in a big circle here. Operational door is over there. So you want to just hold on to this for as long as you can. Probably place somewhere near these stairs. Kill the drones that come around. Take as much time as you can. Maybe even play the stairs. But yeah, don't give up control of this straight away. You don't want somebody just down on the breach knowing that they've got free control there. You want them worried that you might be on these windows. So you've sort of... The way to play this site, in my opinion, is to like sort of extend out and then slowly creep back in when the attackers put too much pressure on you. You know, don't give your life up. Don't hold on to that corridor and make... Oh, I'm not moving here until I die. Like, if there's too much pressure here, just tuck back in. And then your next protocol is defending this area. Let the defenders use utility and drone to then clear out of this area. Come back in, reinforce it. Then you got this door to defend. Some nice angles you can hold on that door. Let the attackers then use utility to clear out of that area. And by the time they've had to take the bridge and they've had to take storage, they haven't got much left to actually aggress onto the site. So, yeah. That's about it, really. Key areas are operational and north side bridge. You've also got to watch out for the sneaky little backstab up the stairs here. That's an external door. So quite often you'll just get an Ash charge in that, and Ash can be like literally at the top of these stairs within 25 seconds or so of the round. It's not a terrible site. It's just not as good, in my opinion, as the basement or weapons, personally. That's just my opinion. Down in the basement then, which I believe is probably the strongest site on the map. We've used 8 reinforcements, sorry. And the 2 are lab exit, like the sort of little cubby between sites here, which is 2. We've then used 1 over on the left-hand side wall of lockers. There's 3. We've then got the 2 warehouse walls, 4, 5. We've then got the missile wall, 6. Toxin hatch, 7. And all the way back around to lab support hatch here, 8. Now, again, there's a lot of lines of sight and rotates to make here, and it's also, because the map's so big, again, holding away from the site and slowly falling back. So first things first, again, why do I say that? You want to rotate between sites. I think that's fairly obvious. You want to be able to get from lab to lab support. Then you also want to be able to get into toxin. Like this, and by using the middle of the wall here, you don't expose yourself to either of the 2 doors to sight. You can also, while you're here, make a line of sight here and here. And that means that all the way from back here, you can watch the toxin hatch drop. So you can see, I've just pinged there, the angle that we have. You can see that that's where the hatch is. If anyone was to drop, they would drop in front of that angle. Rotates and lines of sight over this side are just feet holes and lockers. And this is just if any attackers are pushing through this way here from electrical. By the time they get to this door between electrical and barrels, you can see down on the bottom of the feet holes here. If anyone was to go through there, you'd see them through the feet holes. Holding on to warehouse is pretty important. Again, it's a massive area. It's a huge room. But there's lots of cover. As long as that breach doesn't get opened, you can hold on to the door there. You can hold on to the barrels window there. If the breach does get opened, you've still got plenty of time to just chill around this area to destroy a few drones. before you need to move back either into lockers or move back either into missile. Definitely hold on for that as long as you can. One area you definitely need to watch out for is over in this neck of the woods, and it's this door here in stock. This is a common sort of area where people think they can just get a bit of a backstab into sight. They can come straight into stock. People are not expecting it before they know it. They're in the middle of the site from being, you know, you can, the external door's there, you can plant here, so it's what, like 6 meters away, 7 meters away. So you've got to watch for this. You definitely need like a prox mine or a trap of like Fenrir, Malusi, something to let you know if somebody comes in that door. I personally like playing in this area. I play smoke here, or mute, and I'll just hold on to this door as tight as I can. Don't forget you've got the shotgun to watch it with as well. From here you can watch the toxin drop if anyone drops this hatch. You can also watch if anyone drops the lab support hatch. You just got to watch out because someone could make vert here. You can see that the beams run vertically, so they can see like into this area here. Just be a bit careful there. Someone was to make vertical like here, and be able to see from there into this door, so you've got to be careful to see what vert they're doing. But the beauty of this is it's hard ceiling apart from when you get to there. So you're in a pretty safe spot here if this door isn't open as well. And from here you can defend lab support, obviously toxin, come round from toxin, hold into lockers. There's loads of places to defend here. If this hatch doesn't get open, toxin's probably the strongest place to play on this whole site. Holding into lockers, holding into lab support from here. You can see the door all the way over there. Really strong place to play, but that's why as an attacker you want to get this hatch open, really. The other thing you've got to bear in mind is you definitely want to be having a presence upstairs. You don't just want to give vertical control for free. So, nearly turn right there. So, get up here, make yourself active. A soloist would be unbelievable, although maybe not next season after the nerf. But getting on someone who's a decent roamer around this part of the map here, making yourself a nuisance around here, stopping them getting the hatches, or if they do get the hatches, just make sure they know you're knocking about, destroy a few drones. You could even play right up on the top floor. And don't forget, you can see down from the mez there, you can see the hatch if anyone was playing the hatch just there. So yeah, really solid place to play. The one hatch is there, the other hatch is just around the corner here. I've already shot the radio. That's the basement. I quite like the basement. I think it's probably the best site on the map. There's a lot of site setup to do, and there's definitely a lot of, like we talked about upstairs, where you've got to sort of defend away from the site and then slowly fall back. So defend into warehouse, fall back down in towards missile. Start by defending barrels and electrical, and then slowly fall away into lockers. And again, just each time that they push you out of that room, they've got to use more utility to push you out of here, and eventually fall back in the site. Again, a lot of this site ceiling is soft, so you've got to make sure you don't let them get full control of above, because a couple of rams and a buck and you've got serious trouble below. On to what is, I think, the second best site on the map, although people don't play it. People tend to play it third, sometimes even not at all. It's bunks and briefing. We've used 9 reinforcements, so you've got the main breach as 2. You then got the 2 back walls of briefing, makes 4. The right side wall of briefing into CCTV or security makes 5. 6, 7 for the security wall out into the top yellow area. And then you've got the sight hatch for 9. Now, in terms of line to sight and rotations, I always used to reinforce this wall, but I don't anymore. So I'll make a rotate here. And this is just for sneaking between the 2 rooms, obviously. And then I also now think just a small rotate here is a good idea as well. And this enables you to peek this door onto the door out into the corridor here. So this is a really common egress point. Green corridor, bunk corridor, whatever you want to call it. Really common. Do I keep saying egress? I feel like egress is exit. What I'm trying to say is like like where people enter. You have egress and what's the opposite egress? There's two. There's like entrance and exit. It's like egress and something else. Anyway, it's a really common point of entrance. So being able to peek through here onto that door, and then also peek here onto that door is important. Definitely bandit trick this site, by the way. And you can also make this rotate here to hold the door into security. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Excuse me. Excuse me. Right. So I'm keeping that in. I should edit that out if I was any good, but I'm not. So next rotate is here. If I reloaded the shotgun, we'd be better off. And this is to hold security. You've got the door here, which goes... If anyone doesn't know, I'll show you anyway. This door here goes out to the breach. That's the main breach we were just talking about bandit tricking. So this, again, is another common entry point. You want to hold this for as long as you can. Bear in mind, there's a hatch here above. Oh, by the way, that's the... I didn't talk about that reinforcement. That's the 9th reinforcement. They're both... One's in server, one's in R6 room. But you want to hold this onto the door. You can also then peek onto the door there. You can also then use this as cover. So if this was reinforced, you'd have to go back through the door to get out. Whereas you can just, like, sneak up here, peek onto the door, get back in. Again, like we talked about... Up in R6 room and storage, if you get a bit of pressure, you can just come back and reinforce this if you want to. But you definitely want to have multiple ways of peeking this door. Because like we talked about on other maps, if an attacker gets control of this room, the only place he has to worry about is this one angle there. There's one, like, this set of pixels there. You can just walk in worrying about that. With this here now, and with this wall soft, you can even make a little line of sight there if you want. And now they've got to worry about, are you going to peek there again? Oh no, I peeked here again. You know what I mean? You've got to keep him guessing. Again, you definitely need a presence upstairs. A mirror castle setup works really, really well upstairs, because all of this is soft ceiling across all of this site. So definitely having a presence upstairs is huge. There's just something about this site that works really, really well once you've got it down. Being able to bandit trick this because it's solid floor, so you don't have to worry about being like bucked out from below. If you've got your mates above, you don't have to worry about being shot from above as well. There's just great cover almost everywhere. Like, you've got this like half wall here on the bunks to be able to like peek up onto the door, and you've got natural cover to be able to peek both sides here. Don't know which side they're peeking, throwing C4 over from above, a bit like Border, I guess this reminds me of a little bit. Although the breach is behind us and not there. But just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't really put my finger on why it's a solid site. I just really, really like it. You've just got some, like, also nice anchor points. Like, it's not a great anchor point being trapped in the corner of a room, but you can take cover in the corner of this room here. And you can, like, peek onto the door from here if you want to. Or you can peek the door from there, or you can use the rotate here. It's just a solid place to play. And again, you've got cover behind here as well. Natural cover that you can use. You can bring your head up high by standing on this. Or if you reinforce that, you can just play behind here. You could put a shield on top of this, if we had a shield. You put a shield there, and you could play here to play behind the shield. Now, as anything in Siege, there's a counter to it. You know, if you open this wall, nobody can play here. And that's probably the way to attack this site, is to open this wall, then get control of security, and then just do like a door plant. Or even like, if you can open this wall as well, just come and tuck and plant in here. And if you've got this wall open, you know no one can be behind there. All you need to do is just somebody watch the door then. Once you're tucked in and planting here, the only place your teammate has to watch is that door. That's about it, really. Solid site. I rate it. I would play basement and then bunks briefing before I played top floor. Onto armory and weapons. And let's do the right thing. Shoot the radio. So, yeah, armory weapons maintenance. It's horrific. I'll show you why it's horrific. I need this hatch open to show you why, though. So I'll do it. Once I've shown you the setup, I'll show you why I think it's poo. But reinforcements, we've used 4. The 2 that go into the corridor here from Armoury. 1 hatch. And the left-hand side of weapons maintenance into, like, range, I think it's called. Range exit, yeah. Range exit, range booth. So... this area here is key to defending the site, although it's really tough to hold. Because you've got a window, a double door, and another door. So it's really tough to hold. Castle is probably your man you want to be playing around here. The lines of sight here, and just a little rotate at the bottom to get back in, just means that you've got another way through in rather than just going through that door. Because the vertical on this site is a shambles. I think this might be the easiest side to attack, personally, if you know what you're doing. Then we've got this triple wall here, which is a bit of a nightmare. I don't really enforce any of it. But what's tough is, from above, the beams run this direction. So from above, you can just, like, buck out the top of that wall. And from there, you can see, like, all the way back into this area of this room here in Armoury. So, do you reinforce one side of it so you've got some cover, or just the middle? Maybe. This is why I'm maybe there, and then you've got a bit of cover here, but if Buck's out here, even if that's there, he's still going to be able to see you back here. Then I mean, you could put a little rotate in here. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to be able to use it because the attackers will have control of above, looking down at that rotate any second. I guess at least then you can move around into range. But that gives you a bit of flexibility. Definitely want to rotate into medical over here. For sure. Put it on the right side. You can use this like bed surround as a bit of cover if you need to. This gives you the ability to go round to the armory door to try and get a bit of a flank on if you need to. You know, you can hold here, and then if you panic, you can get back into the site by coming back through medical. And you're back in the site again. If you reinforce this off, you're just trapped in this one room. And there's not a lot of movement you can do. So I would recommend actually defending into medical. Like we talked about before, you defend away from the site. So start by defending here. Putting a bit of pressure on this side. Keeping control of medical for as long as you can, and it gives you way more movement and way more flexibility. You've got to defend upstairs. So let me show you where that hatch is. That's in operational upstairs. Remember when we were talking about the top floor site and I said it's critical for defending 2 sites? Well, it's critical for defending top floor and it's critical for defending the site we're talking about now. So that's your hatch there. Now the problem you've got is all of this floor here, you can see where we were making the holes. This is where I was saying Buck can just hold like way back into Armoury. Although this shotgun isn't the best for opening vertical lines of sight. There we go. Like you can see, look how far back we can see. It's a shambles. So attackers can get control of operational really easily. And all of this vertical here is over the site. So once they've got control of this room, which is just the first room they come to, and also a really difficult room to hold on to, I would recommend doing what we did when we defended the top floor. And just do a bit of this. And then a little bit of this. And again, just hold on to this for as long as you can. Maybe even keep the hatch soft so you can drop if you need to. It's just not a good sight, man. So, let me just nip back downstairs. That's what you need to do. But all of that floor above operational, that pretty much is exactly the footprint of this room below. And if you come here, you can even see the door in the corner. So you can hold the door from below. You can maybe like throw a C4 through the door if you think someone's going to be waiting outside droning. So what I'll do now is I'll start this round again and we'll load back into the site. I'll open this hatch and I'll show you why it's an easy attack. Right, new round then. So let me show you why, if you do ever play this site, how easy it is to attack. So I'm assuming as well, let's put the same rotates in that we did, and let's assume that the people you're playing know what they're doing when it comes to defending. If this is reinforced, if this wall and this wall's reinforced, it's even easier. Where's that projector? Is it? No, it's there. I'm sure couldn't you turn that off? I don't know why, I feel like you could turn that off at some point. So, the first thing you want to do is open this door and get control of range. Shouldn't be too difficult. You've got the doors and the windows like we just talked about. You don't actually need anyone in here. You just need no defenders in here. You don't necessarily need to be here, although it can help. Then, upstairs, we get control of operational, which again, a Ying and a Monty, you can do it within 15 seconds. Once we've got control of operational, which is right here, we then want to make vertical for holding the door into range, which is where we just got control of. So in case there's any defenders there, you then want to make vertical for the triple wall that we talked about before to make sure no one comes through there. And then finally, you can make vertical for the door. And with a Buck, you can do all of this in around 10 seconds. There's the door. So, all you need to do as an attacker is drop, tuck and plant right there, and the defenders can do absolutely nothing about it if you have somebody who drops the plant and somebody who holds here. They can't do anything about it. Also, bear in mind, you've got the pressure from opening this wall. They can't stand close on that wall unless they fully reinforce it. So somebody just stands here, holds that wall. Somebody just stands here, make sure nobody walks up towards the door. Somebody drops. They drop and shoot the radio. And they just drop and plant here. The defenders can't stop it. No one's there or there because we've got control of range. You can't get an angle to shoot them from there. And even if you can, you're being watched from above here. And then if you do try and peek the door to stop the planter, you get shot from the hatch. It's the easiest side to attack. You get control of operational within 20 seconds. You can open this wall and this wall with even less time. And if they've reinforced this, it's even easier. You've only got to watch this door. You haven't even got to worry about this. The only thing you've got to worry about is if someone does that. Well, not that, actually. That's embarrassing. Is if someone goes like that. That's the only thing that can stop it. But if you bring the operators to smoke out, like if you were to ying through into here as you dropped and planted, they wouldn't even know you were planting. It's so easy to attack. I don't think I've... If you've got a coordinated 3 of you, possibly even 2 of you, but if you've got a coordinated 3, you can definitely win this site every time. But I just don't rate it. So in my opinion, it goes basement, bunks briefing, top 4, and then weapons maintenance and armory. It sounds like we've got a vendetta against the site. I just don't think it's very good at all. So there we have it. That's how to set up and defend Lair. One more map left, as I said earlier. Emerald Plains to do, and then we'll collate them all together. Please stop banning Lair. It's actually unreal. When you learn how to play it, when you learn how to attack it, it's a really, really solid map, apart from Armoury weapons maintenance, which you might have guessed I'm not a massive fan of. Thank you for getting involved with the channel, and thank you for staying subscribed after the membership video that went down like a lead balloon. Thank you for getting involved with the channel. As always, you can like, subscribe, comment, and all that sort of good stuff that helps me out. I really appreciate it. But even just clicking watch does me a massive favor, or even clicking play does me a massive favor. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!